Our scene begins within New York. The street hums with life, the kind zipping around with their own unique symphony. Cars driving in the metallic roar across highways, pedestrians clip clapping through the streets and pavements, the sidewalks of New York. The city never sleeps. Neon lights flare and flicker, casting shadows deep into the dark recesses of the city. Beyond the hustle and bustle, on the darkened corners, where the shadows stretch the furthest, lay the suburbs, the forgotten places. Past the lights and twinkle, past the songs written by dead performers, is where life is pushed to the side, where many people forget everyday folks going about trying to head to that juicy, rotten core where the money is made, where the people are. Oh, I want to be there. New York, New York. I'm on the outskirts in a forgotten place, a place where people don't wish to go, a place where people are sent to be forgotten. It's Fair Meadows Mental Institute, a brightly decored place with marvellous colours and fresh gardens, with trimmed hedges and polished, waxed floors. All that bright monotony to hide the corruption within, to hide the disgusting truth that people are here to be forgotten and to die. Within the brightly lit office, one light still remains. James Pierce sits upon his desk in a small, overcrowded office. Boxes piled high with various papers, organized meticulously, but the small cupboard of a room is not enough to hold his vast collection of records and other things that he squirrels away. The faint hum of a computer monitor flickers, bathing the room in a ghostly blue light. He takes his hand and rubs his eyes again. Staring at the screen for too long makes him ache. His hand twitches. He has been at this for most of the evening, dedicated to a singular task, and what a monumentous one. It is with great reluctance that he begins this journey. If only they would let him be, let him sit within his little corner of the New York, simply existing, simply keeping his mind in order. But after his meeting with his good friends, York and Benjamin Pierce, the tendrils of the real world are starting to creep in. The pressures of his nightly activities start to unset. This comfortable bubble no longer holds any sanctuary for him, for he can see the slithering slugs leaving their trails along the pavement. He can feel like a throb at the back of his spine. The dread creeping, slowly edging forward. Benjamin was right. Grim though he is right. New York is a death trap to those who are unwary. Simply sitting back and sitting still can save you for a time, but not for long. So with reluctance, James has to pull himself out, has to change his routine a difficult process for himself. He begins with some comfortable movements, tapping, organizing, alphabetizing some files. He heads up and heads to the bathroom, his sixth time again, washing his hands, going down the corridors with the faint clip-clap of his well-polished shoes. Once he has done the circuit, at least 3 times, he enters back into the office and continues his research. Well, no time like the present. It won't be long now, he thinks, before they all come crashing in, and I better be prepared. It won't be long before they start asking questions, making me come to important meetings to hear what I have to say. And I have to be ready. I have to be able to help. The cracks are already showing. This city has been without guidance for so long. It's like a runaway youth. Spent so long enjoying the fact that it can do what it wants, when it pleases, that it has forgotten to realize the consequences of its actions. And just like trail marks, they begin to blister, to become sore, and every time that poor junkie puts the needle in for another dose of that fantastic feeling, the scar tissue grows. Try as he might, there is only one way to deal with irresponsibility, and that is to step up, one thing at a time. And so James begins his long research. It has been several hours, and he has gone through many things with the computers. The internet is a fascinating device, and one that gives someone a vast array of information absolutely for free. It's a long time since he had to deal with wireless modems, fax machines, and the fact that this broadband can connect so easily is a technological marvel. He smiles briefly at the ingenuity of the kind and continues his research. To remain useful, to be able to accomplish what the city needs. He begins his research. Mundane though it may be, the simplest ways are often the best, and James begins to research the major cleaning companies within New York City. So, with an intelligence and investigation role, let's see how well he does. Wonderful. No specialty, so 3 successes. To get the information is pretty simple. He is an employee of Fair Meadows Institute, who also have their cleaners. He simply goes through the invoices, the tax sheets, and sees who they use. He gets a couple of names of different companies, the laundrette that deals with their bedding and spare clothes for their patients, the janitorial staff that clean the floors in the late evening, the cleaning suppliers that they use. He begins to link them all, carefully constructing a weave, taking out a small notebook and writing it down. with connecting lines. Very neat and floral writing. He sees that there are a few big companies within New York City. The closest and most accessible is called Busy Bee Cleaning Company. Not quite what he was after, I have to say, as it is more of a janitorial company made to hire professionals out to clean all sorts of places, companies, government buildings. They take contracts for pretty much anywhere. But they are based in Manhattan and have few distilleries that rely on areas which James does not want to go. Discovering this, he sends them a few emails. Simple things. There is a contact us link on their webpage. He sends an email, quite simply asking them for their company's information. Because despite his eccentricities, James has a lot of friends, especially in the Institute. The director of medicine, for instance, listens to his counsel. And if James can get a deal with this new cleaning company, well, that's two birds with one stone. He starts to look through, wondering if he can find anything else about this company just from the internet. And so he'll roll an intelligence computers check to see if there's anything he can do with the technology at hand, or will he have to investigate further physically. Oh, wonderful. 3 successes. He makes headway, going through the sheets, seeing some of their customers, some of their transactions, the pricing list. He starts to research other things. What sort of chemicals in which these cleaning companies rely on, what companies in which they rely on to supply them with their goods, their transit vans, the type of vehicle they use, even the amount of employees. It's still not enough, though. Not enough to get a true hold on how big or cumbersome this bureaucracy is, nor any human links so far in which he can exploit. He is a man of modest means and a little supernatural push, so it will be a slow and grim process, one that he does not relish. But he has made the first tentative steps. He notes the location of the company, as well as a couple of presbyteries where they park their vehicles, what sort of outside expenses they have to claim, and which companies they use. He will have to go there physically, but he has no way in. Not yet, anyway. Several hours, clearly into the night, and James is tired. He looks out the window and sees the strange shimmering of dawn beginning. The dark blue of the night sky starting to go away, deep purple, relaying the deadly sun. A herald of death and destruction to those who walk in the night. Sunny demeanor means very different things to a kindred. As much as he'd like to continue his research, he has things to do. He has met with a lot of new people. His routine has been off balance for quite some time. And so, taking his ease that he won't be able to head into the city, he heads up. Heads to the small on-call dorm for night staff. Heads into the bathroom. Pulls out a small key from under the sink. pulls off the under panel, revealing the lattice work of pipes, reaches round behind it where no one would find, and pulls out a plastic bag. Taking out a large Perspex apron, blue surgical gloves, the hand sanitizer, a quarter bottle of vodka, and most importantly, a pair of well-gripped, slightly tinged pliers. Puts them all neatly in a row upon the sink. Takes the hand towel and spreads it out like a picnic blanket on the floor. Kneels down comfortably. Takes the pliers in one hand. One must not keep secrets. End scene.